Got a red one too.
There's a red one too?
Yep. I seen when they remember I told you I seen them this morning.
Yeah, I seen the red one online.
Yeah, they were on it this morning. Come on.
All right. Oh, that's what it's supposed to be, 5:30?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on?
All right.
Now, there's a bit of a gap here, okay?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, shit.
Missing 5 people? Really? Look at that, they took out all the middle chairs.
This jacket keep me warm. Oh, look at her.
Aren't you driving this thing?
I'm like,
Yeah, just go that place and let me drive the boat.
making some noise. I should have sat on this side.
Good evening and welcome aboard. My name is Craig. I will be your driver as we cover 2.5 miles here on the San Antonio River. I have some safety concerns. If you could, try to keep your hands in the boat. Obviously, no standing, no smoking. If you want to jump up and take a picture, please go right ahead. Just be very careful. Some of the bridges are pretty low. What else? We have life jackets. I don't know why. The water's 4 feet deep.
Oh.
It's a narrated tour, and I do point out the highlights here. So we're here at the Arneson Theater. We have concerts and plays here at the outdoor venue. On my left is seating. On my right's the stage. If the stage on my right looks familiar, I was told that it was featured in the film Miss Congeniality, which I'm sure is delightful. And yeah, this is all part of the original section of the Riverwalk. The planters, the bridges. This area was built in 1941. 80 years old. Different parts of the Riverwalk were of course built at different times. During the tour this evening, we spent most of our time on the original section. Waterfall on my right. A lot of animal life called the Riverwalk home. Try to keep them healthy. Try to prevent the water from becoming stagnant. That's what the waterfalls are for. And on my right is the Briscoe Art Museum. The Briscoe features artwork from the American West. On my right's the newest addition. On my right is a sculpture that is depicting a cattle crossing.
Oh, wow. Who is the
The
guy?
top floor of the museum is dedicated to the Alamo with artifacts and artwork. In front of the boat is the Tower Life building. Completed in 1929, directly in front of the boat is the only 8-sided high-rise in America. We will talk more about the building in front of us when we get next to it, but that is an excellent view of an 8-sided high-rise. There it is. And we're going under the Preston Bridge. The bridge is dangerously low. Please remain seated. The bridge was built in the 1800s. People were shorter at that time. And coming up on my right is Marriage Island. Marriage Island is heart-shaped. If you look to my right, Marriage Island is made from the roots of a giant cypress tree. Checking out the ducks. Ducks with brown heads are lady ducks. Of course, ducks with green heads are male ducks. On my right's a white duck. I believe that's a Peking duck.
Oh, wow.
And we're going under Navarro Street. Seeing the same streets over and over. We are curving through downtown. We'll see Navarro Street later.
I'm taller than you.
And we're going over the old crossing. Right now the water is 2 feet deep. This is certainly the low point of the river.
Also,
back when they're herding cattle across the state, this was the center of downtown. Now in front of the boat is a granite dome. In front of the boat is the Bexar County Courthouse. Completed in 1897, the courthouse is still in use. And on my left is Tower Life, the octagonal high-rise. The Tower Life is a Gothic building. Part of the Gothic style does include gargoyles. If you look above the top row of windows, on the corner we see stone dragons. Again, very top and on the corner.
oh, okay, I see them.
And if you look above the bottom row of windows, we find stone faces. So we have faces on the bottom, and we have dragons on the top. Now the faces and the dragons, they were put here to protect the building. They don't work. The building on my left was completed in the midst of the Great Depression, and the developers lost an absolute fortune trying to finish the building behind us. See those faces looking down. Going under St. Mary Street. Now in front of the boat is the courthouse. On my left is the Granada Retirement Home. On my right is the old marina. This is actually where we parked the boats. And behind the boat is Tower Life. Behind the boat's that 8-sided high-rise. Please do not be alarmed. I am going to toot my horn. We have a blind turn. I'd like to inform any oncoming traffic. Now when we, that's where the boat was.
Oh, they got a bunch of
When we first got on board, I mentioned the water was 4 feet deep. Actually, right now the water, it is over 20 feet deep.
Oh.
We are now in the flood channel, and this is the deepest part of the river.
Oh, so we're going to get the feeling.
Behind the boat is floodgate 5. Behind the boat is a 9-foot drop-off. And again, that's floodgate 5. Now when it rains, they lower the floodgate. About 6 inches, I would say. Once we lower the floodgate behind the boat, all the rainwater rushes out of downtown. And basically, that's what the Riverwalk does. The Riverwalk was designed to protect the city from flooding. That's the main purpose. So when you start thinking about the history of the river, the nachos, the margaritas, they came later. What makes the Riverwalk special, remember it's safe when it rains. Now we weren't always so lucky. Back in 1921, the city suffered a devastating flood. By the 1930s, we began developing the Riverwalk, designing the floodgate, and by 1941, the initial system was complete.
Is this the one we stand in?
And on my left is the San Fernando Cathedral, completed by the Spanish in 1738. On my left, you might catch a glimpse of the bell tower of the cathedral.
Yes, it is.
Because
And in front of the boat is a giant cypress tree, a very famous location here in town. In front of the boat is where the Mexican sniper perched himself during the Battle of Fair. The Battle of Fair took place before the Battle of the Alamo. Texas won that one. That tree is at least 110 feet tall. In front of the boat might be the tallest tree on the river. And in front of the boat is Floodgate 3. Floodgate 3 is a garage door. Now this thing weighs 3 tons. Of course, it was built back in the 1930s, so we're going to hurry up and get through here. During heavy rain, they lower the floodgate.
Oh.
A little bit of construction on my right. They're building apartments here. It is becoming more popular to live downtown. It's a big project. And on my right is the Esquire Tavern. Now, the Esquire is the oldest bar on the river. Over 100 feet long, it is the longest bar in Texas, and it was a speakeasy during Prohibition. When you go inside the Esquire today, you find that 1920s style. And on my right is the future home of the Canopy Hotel. On my right, eventually, will be the newest hotel downtown. So kind of an interesting mix of old and new buildings.
Oh,
the
okay.
Esquire Tavern is a historic landmark. It cannot be torn down, so they're building around it.
We didn't walk down here, did we?
And on my right is the Aztec Theater, completed in 1926. At one time, this was the city's silent movie house. Right now, it is in the process of being restored. Look up high in the sky, and on my right, you see an Aztec head with its tongue sticking out.
Oh, okay. Oh, right there, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You see it? Mm-hmm.
And in front of the boat is the Salina Bridge. Now, obviously, the footbridge is named after Selena Quintanilla, and it was featured in the film Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez. And people ask me quite often, where is the Salina Bridge? For some reason, we never put up a sign. But yeah, this is the one from the movie.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. And on my left was St. Mary's Boys School, which became St. Mary's University, which became way too big for such a small building. On my left is now the Omni Hotel. But again, at one time, this was the first college in the city. It was on the river. The first school, the first church, the first prison, everything was built on the river, and the city has been expanding. San Antonio is currently the 7th largest city in the United States. Much of its initial infrastructure was built on the river. And we're going under Navarro Street again.
That's where we started.
Curving through downtown. So we're under the bridge. And if you guys could do me a favor, this is actually kind of cool. Again, we're under Navarro Street, and if you look up high in the sky and on my left, we will see an optical illusion. Again, high in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
What appears to be flat. That is the corner of the main hospital.
That's nice.
Completed in the year 1930. On my left was the birthplace of Carol Burnett, Oliver North, and my grandma. Now, recently the hospital was shut down. Eventually, it's going to be a hotel. Checking out these cypress trees. They are known as bald cypress trees. Every winter they shed their leaves. Every spring the leaves come back. The trees are not dying.
Oh, okay.
Checking out the Christmas lights. Now, traditionally, by this time of the year, we would be in the process of taking down the lights. This year, the lights will be on until Valentine's Day.
Oh.
We've been lighting up the Riverwalk every winter for nearly 5 decades. And yeah, this year the lights are going to be on for an extra month. Usually turn them off. squeaking above the boat. Certainly not that loud. Those are bats. Bats are still in the area.
Bats.
Often when the sun goes down, you see bats flying through the underpass here. And in front of the boat's the Crockett Bridge. Now, obviously, the bridge is named after Davy Crockett. And this bridge did survive the flood of 1921. During the tour, you might start to notice that not much predates 1921 on the river, and that is for obvious reasons. And this is River Square, and this is certainly the heart of the Riverwalk. Last year, or actually 2019, over 12 million people did visit the San Antonio River. On a busy day, over 10,000 people take a boat ride. And I was told that nearly 100 people fall in the river every year. Now that happens about twice a week.
Oh, wow.
Alcohol and texting is an issue. But yeah, this is it. This is typically what people think about when they talk about the river. And again, from very humble beginnings, this is now the most popular tourist attraction in the state and really the backbone of downtown's economy. Downtown San Antonio, built for tourism, built for conventions. Coming up on my right, we see a building that will bear the name of Robert Hugman Architect. Hugman was the concept architect. He was the visionary behind the Riverwalk. On my right was the first business on the water. It was his. And on my right is a sculpture of his head.
Right now.
Now he put his front door right on the river. A couple of years later, he was joined by Casa Rio. On my right's the oldest restaurant on the water. So again, this is really where things started down here with the two buildings on my right. Casa Rio has been owned by the same family since the 1940s.
Wow, Casa Rio.
In front of the boat and on my left is the tower. In front of the boat and on my left was the centerpiece for the World's Fair back in 1968. Now so far, pretty much everything we've been on behind the boat, that's a natural part of the river with a mud bottom. Everything in front of the boat's fake. It's made from concrete. So if anyone asks you, I don't know why anyone ever would, but is the Riverwalk real? Well, again, behind the boat it's real, and in front of the boat is this concrete extension. Now, even though this section is man-made, 99% of the river is natural. The San Antonio River is over 200 miles long, and it empties into the Gulf of Mexico. A few miles north of Corpus Christi is the Bay of San Antonio, and that's where the river ends. 98% of the river is open to the public. South of downtown, people canoe, people kayak, some people fish. There are still people who fish in the river. I think they just do it for fun. They're not eating fish. And coming up on my right is the Tower of the Americas. Observation deck, rotating restaurant, 3D movie theater, and a Starbucks. There's actually a lot that goes on up there. The tower is 622 feet tall. It is taller than the Seattle Space Needle.
Oh, wow.
It is shorter than the Stratosphere Tower in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the second tallest observation tower in the United States.
Heard that?
Good water splash.
Oh.
Checking out the boats. All the boats are a little bit different. But in front of us is a Spanish folk art theme. On my left is a statue of Saint Anthony. Saint Anthony is the English version of San Antonio. On my left is a sculpture of the city's namesake. Before this was the San Antonio River, this area was known as the Yanaguana River. Yanaguana was a Native American term. It meant restful water, according to the Payaya tribe that lived here back in the 1600s. By the early 1700s, the Spanish had arrived. They arrested the river and they changed the name. Now we still have Yanaguana Street, Yanaguana Park. This is the San Antonio River, and it has been for over 300 years. San Antonio was established by Spanish missionaries 303 years ago. We are one of the oldest cities in the United States. And we're here at the mall. The mall has over 1 million square feet of shopping. This is the centerpiece.
Wow.
This lagoon is often served as the centerpiece for our river parades. Seemingly once a month or so, we have parades on the river. So we decorate the boats. St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July, Mardi Gras, the Day of the Dead are big events down here. Hopefully we start having parades again.
I know, right?
No doubt.
And in front of the boat is an orange tree. During the tour we see orange trees, palm trees, and banana trees. And again, this is a public park. At 15 miles long,
Look at that,
the
some big
Riverwalk
old
is larger
oranges.
than Central Park in New York City. It's a huge public space. And above the boat's a lemon
Tell
tree.
Steve, he's calling.
Grab one of those grapefruits. Oh, it's a lemon.
Oh, wow, look at that big. Woo.
And again, all the boats are a little bit different. My boat has a military theme. You see the bald eagle on the front of this boat. San Antonio has a rich military history. We have the nickname Military City USA. Nearly everyone in this town is connected to the armed forces in some way. River's important. We try to keep it clean. About once every 2 years, we end up draining the downtown Riverwalk. We do maintenance down here. It only takes 30 minutes to drain this section.
Wow.
Yeah, the downtown river is built like a staircase. It is higher in the north than it is in the south. Right now we're in the middle. So if you raise the north gate, if you lower the south gate, water rushes out of downtown. Now this typically takes place in January. Again, it's busy during December. Now last year, while draining the Riverwalk, they were finding a bunch of those electric scooters. Things, you know? Now coming up on my right is St. Joseph's, high in the sky, and on my right is the oldest German church here in town. Back in the 1800s, you would hear German here in San Antonio, Texas, as much as you would hear English or Spanish. On my right is the spire of St. Joe's. And when you look at a map of Texas, little German towns are peppered throughout this part of the state. Cities like Greene, Fredericksburg, Schulenburg, and Pflugerville. So there's still this interesting mix of cultures down here. Past the old Chamber of Commerce. Behind the Chamber of Commerce, we find the Torch of Friendship, giant orange sculpture up here on Alamo Street. This giant work of art was a gift from Mexico. Been there for 19 years now. Pretty centrally located.
Look at those green things on that thing there.
And in front of the boat's Costa Rio. And like I said, yeah, Costa Rio. They're the oldest restaurant on the water. They were the first ones to have my job. They were doing dinner boats. They were doing tour boats. They use gondolas, little wooden boats. Today we use an electric boat. This boat is 100% electric. It is plugged in at the end of the day. And on my left is the Hilton. Now the hotel on my left was built using modular construction, meaning they made the beds. They put mints on the pillows and they put artwork on the walls. And at that point they stacked the rooms on top of each other.
Oh.
If you look in front of the boat, you see a bunch of boxes that are sticking out. These boxes are individual rooms plugged into a grid. That hotel was built in about 200 days, and that hotel is in the Guinness Book of World Records for many years. One of the largest buildings to be completed so quickly. Still a nice hotel. Now we're back here at the dock. This is the end of the tour. I want to thank everyone for coming on the boat. If you could, please remain seated. I am going to dock the boat now. Finally, my name is Craig, and as the sign says up on the helm, the sign says, for a job well done. If you enjoy your tour, you can always thank your driver